If you have popcorn, does that mean you can get within arm's length of a police officer, ma'am? Is that how the law works? But if you have a camera, you can't get close? Just want to clarify for next time. I don't want to break the law, ma'am. Call her Popcorn Myers. That's your name. Popcorn Myers. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm recording you tonight.
I need you to get out of the street.
Okay. What's your name real quick?
Officer Myers, 6181.
I'm recording you on purpose.
That's fine, get out of the street.
I'm recording you specifically on purpose.
What I fucking tell you, I told you guys fucking told you. Fuck that bitch. You know what's funny? Her sergeant gave us permission to be there.
Oh, really?
That fucking sergeant fucking know.
Well, I'm gonna keep walking by. I'm gonna keep walking back and forth.
Alright guys, today we are going to watch a situation where one simple question completely exposes the contradiction in real time. The citizen stays calm, respectful, and direct, asking how standing close with popcorn is acceptable, but standing close with a camera suddenly becomes a problem. That single comparison instantly puts the officer on the defensive. No yelling, no chaos, just logic dismantling selective enforcement piece by piece. The tension builds because the camera is not creating conflict here, it is documenting inconsistency. And once inconsistency gets exposed publicly, authority starts losing control of the narrative.
Let's say we're standing like between the cop cars. Since you guys are standing there, right? And the cars are here, are we cool to stand there and just like, not like be up on you, but just like in the median?
But it's not illegal for us to stand in the middle right here at this time?
Since the cars are here, you guys...
so as long as you guys are cognizant of that, if we need emergency medical attention.
And if you guys gotta go hands on or whatever the case,
yeah.
You know, medical pulls up, we'll get out, but we respect that.
Yeah.
Step out of the street for me.
What's your name again?
I already told you, get out of the street.
Is that a lawful order?
Yep.
It is?
Get out of the street. You're
What's
a pedestrian in a roadway.
It's a lawful order?
Pedestrian in a roadway. I need you to get out of the street.
What would be the crime, though?
Do so now, or you will be arrested.
I just talked
get
to
out of
your
the
sergeant.
street.
Your sergeant just told me I can be here. Why do you think I'm back? Yeah. We just had a conversation with...
Buckle up, guys, because this is where the interaction shifts from conversation to intimidation. The citizen clearly explains that they will stay aware of emergency access and avoid interfering, which shows cooperation from the very beginning. But seconds later, the officer suddenly changes tone and threatens arrest for standing in the same area her sergeant already approved. That contradiction becomes impossible to ignore. The citizen does not escalate emotionally. Instead, he calmly questions the legality of the order. And that is what makes this moment powerful. Calm accountability exposes weak authority faster than anger ever could.
Go get that conversation.
I told her as long as they stay out of our way.
He's not. He's totally my way.
Just stay out of her way, that's all
I'm not in your way.
You're in my personal bubble, though. Okay, and it makes me uncomfortable. I have weapons on me that are within hands reach.
You're escalating and you're raising your voice. You've
I
been
need you to back away
aggressive
from
since
me.
the beginning.
Back away from me.
Is it illegal? I'm not. Is there a crime scene? I'm not interfering with anything.
No, but you are in my area. I need you to back away. You're
Is that a lawful order? Because you gave me a lawful. What's the law?
You're within hands reach of my weapons, and I need you to back up.
Like about a year ago, like I said, she used my government name, said where I work, and she knew what she was doing. Because she knows I post my interactions on YouTube. Simple as that. And I do need her business card now because I will be filing a complaint. If I could just Hey, why are you videoing her?
Alright, guys, now the emotional side of policing starts showing through the cracks. The officer shifts away from legal reasoning and starts talking about personal space, discomfort, and weapons proximity. But public discomfort is not the same thing as criminal behavior. The citizen remains steady, asking what law is actually being violated instead of reacting emotionally. Then the conversation reveals prior history between them, making the encounter feel less like neutral enforcement and more like personal retaliation. The camera becomes the center of frustration because documentation removes ambiguity, and once every action is preserved on video, selective behavior becomes impossible to hide.
Orders, he thinks she's gonna arrest me, and her sergeant basically told her to kick rocks, so...
You're within hands reach of my weapons, and I need you to back up. I know.
Hey Myers, how come that guy was allowed to stand right next to you? I thought you couldn't have anyone next to your gun like that. Remember what you told me? It's just me because I got a camera or what? Because you were so rude to my girlfriend last time you talked to her? How come you weren't going to arrest that guy for being on the street?
Get out of the street.
Is that a lawful order?
Yep.
It is?
Get out of the street. You're
What's
a pedestrian in a roadway.
It's a lawful order?
Pedestrian in a roadway. I need you to get out of the street.
What would be the crime, though?
Do so now, or you will be arrested.
Remember when you said you're going to arrest me for being in the street, but that guy was cool, huh?
Alright everyone, this is the exact moment the entire argument collapses under its own weight. Another person walks right up near the officer holding popcorn, standing in nearly the exact same spot that supposedly justified threats moments earlier. But suddenly there are no warnings, no threats, and no orders to leave. That contrast says more than any debate ever could. The citizen immediately points out the inconsistency, and there is no meaningful response because the comparison is undeniable. Same location, same distance, different treatment. That is what exposes selective enforcement in real time, and the camera captures every second without interruption.
The same thing. Once you get better footage, if you guys split up,
We split up. We'll share each other's footage.
It just seems like you guys are following each other. It seems like you'd get more footage if you...
That's true. We do split up temporarily, and then we come back just in case somebody's in trouble. I don't like him to get too far out of my range, you know.
Oh, so
just in case something happens to him.
Keep an eye on him.
We keep an eye on each other, yeah. So he'll venture off. He got some stuff over there. I might borrow that from him, stuff like that. So,
but they're two different channels.
Yeah, we share footage, stuff like that. But hey, man, I just want to let you know, I think I like your demeanor. You're cool. The reason I was recording Myers is because how rude she was to my girlfriend several months ago, and then I came over here and she was threatening me with arrest for standing in that median.
Your girlfriend?
Okay,
Yeah, my girlfriend. She does recording too, and she had an interaction with Myers, and she was really rude to her.
When was that?
How long ago was that?
Well, like close to a year now.
About a year ago, yeah.
Because I guess over here, that light's giving me a migraine.
Yeah, let me just turn that off for you.
Buckle up, guys, because the energy finally changes once another officer enters the conversation with professionalism instead of confrontation. Notice how quickly tension disappears when respect replaces authority-driven ego. The officer asks genuine questions, listens carefully, and actually engages in dialogue instead of issuing threats. Meanwhile, the citizen explains why they film and how they work together for accountability and safety. This moment proves something important. The camera was never the true problem. The difference was attitude. When communication is calm and professional, the same exact situation suddenly becomes manageable without conflict or escalation.
Later, there was some guy holding some popcorn, standing like right next to her like this. Remember, she said I couldn't be within arm's reach. There was some guy right there, and I called her out on it. I was like, hey, man, how come you're not threatening him with the press for standing in the median, right? So that's all, man. Just like it can't be selective persecution, right? It has to be for everyone. So I appreciate you not discriminating against us because we have cameras. She just doesn't like it, and so... You know, but you can't threaten people with arrest for doing something if they're going to allow others to do it. That's all.
So what's your policy? Like this young lady doesn't want to be on your channel because of her job. She doesn't want it to get blasted.
This lady?
Yeah, what would you do for that?
Well, she's in public, so there's no
It doesn't
expectation
matter.
of privacy in public, right?
Yeah.
You know that. So.
I'm just wondering from,
Oh.
you know,
I typically, I try to,
humanity. more
right.
standpoint,
No,
you know what I
I'm
mean?
not trying to deny people's humanity,
Yeah.
but like, typically I'll try to keep people off if they don't want. Government
Like, can you blur their
officials.
face or something?
I have blurred people's faces before, but I usually don't do that because it kind of takes the point of what we're doing away because, like I said, cats versus United States, there's no...
Alright guys, this section perfectly highlights the difference between accountability and intimidation. The citizen calmly explains how another person was allowed near the officer without consequence while he was threatened for doing the same thing. And instead of escalating, the second officer actually listens and responds respectfully. That completely changes the tone of the encounter. There is no screaming, no power struggle, just a real discussion about consistency and equal treatment. The citizen's main point becomes impossible to dismiss. Laws cannot be enforced differently depending on who is holding a camera. Consistency is what gives authority legitimacy.
Actually, for her safety, I mean, you guys seem pretty decent, so I don't feel like you guys are going to be doing anything crazy, but that's what we do. We're just here to protect them. So
Yeah, and I understand, you know, filming us, and obviously I have no problem with that. I'm just wondering, when you have a citizen that says, you know what, man, I understand I'm in public, but I don't want to be on your channel, do you guys normally say okay, or?
if somebody says, "Hey, I don't want to be recorded," and we're just in public, I'll keep them off.
Oh.
But if they try to like start a conversation with me, then I'm recording because I document every interaction I have. So if I don't mind keeping them off, if they don't want it. But a lot of times people come up, like walk up to me and say, "Hey, I don't want to be recorded," and I'm like, "I wasn't even going to record you, but you came up to me, so you're talking to me now, so now I'm going to record you." But no, typically, like if I go into a government building, I'll specifically try to keep them off. If I do record them, it's usually inadvertently. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Get pulled over tonight. Can I see you?
Alright everyone, now the conversation moves into privacy, recording, and public accountability. The officer asks what happens when citizens do not want to appear on camera, and the response stays balanced and measured. The citizen explains that people in public generally have no expectation of privacy, but he still tries to respect ordinary individuals when possible. At the same time, government officials are treated differently because accountability is the purpose behind the recording. This exchange feels completely different from the earlier confrontation because both sides are actually communicating instead of competing for control. Respectful dialogue instantly changes the atmosphere.